Hi everybody, you're now experiencing the Gretna Bill Show. All right, we're good. Troy, how are you?
I'm great.
Good. I am here in beautiful downtown Mount Gretna at the Josh Zaring Studios. And where are you at these days?
College Station, Texas.
Nice. So basically, we want to talk today about U.S. Endurance and Grinder Nationals. So what's going on, man? I haven't talked to you in a bit about what the state of the art is currently.
You know, I think just the state of the nation, what we're seeing, a lot of gravel races are starting to come back. We're seeing a lot of races happen, which is exciting. I know everyone's tired of being cooped up and not getting to ride. And so, I think we're working our way back towards normal, and people have generally determined, it seems like in a lot of areas, that riding gravel is a fairly safe thing to do. And so that's just a good thing to see.
So why did you originally start U.S. Endurance and Grinder Nationals?
Great question. So, I have a background in 24-hour and 12-hour mountain bike racing. I used to own one of the bigger 24-hour mountain bike races in the country back when I had a promotions company, and we also put on a couple of different 12-hour races. And I used to race quite a bit. And so when U.S. Cycling dropped the 24-hour nationals, we were really disappointed to see that happen. And it's just been gone for a while. Yeah.
Okay, so there you go. You're back.
Sorry.
We lost you. We lost your head for a moment, but go ahead.
Oh, sorry. Am I on screen actually?
Yes, you are.
Oh, I didn't realize that all.
No, you look great, man. Thank you.
My bad. So anyway, when we lost the 24-hour nationals, part of the motivation for putting U.S. Endurance together was our idea was to bring back 24-hour nationals, and that is still one of our goals. And kind of in the meantime, gravel took off, and some people started kind of asking about grinder nationals or gravel nationals, and that was an easier thing for us to do. In that, without some backing, it's going to be hard to bring 24-hour nationals back because just there's so many categories and the cost of all the jerseys and all that jazz.
Yeah.
And so we kind of pivoted and decided, you know what, let's start with grinder nationals, and then hopefully within a few years we can build off the success of that, get some of the industry partners involved, and hopefully bring back 24-hour nationals as well. So that's kind of how it all started, man.
Yeah, that sounds great. I mean, it's been great partnering with you through USARA and through Grinder Nationals. And, man, it's just been really great to work with you, and great for Lupine Lighting Systems. And I couldn't be more thrilled to hear you say that there's still a small shot at 24-hour racing again at national level.
I wouldn't say it's a small shot. Like, it's on our radar, and it's gonna happen, hopefully. So,
sweet.
And so go ahead. Sorry.
No, sweet. So how, in general, like, I know we touched on it earlier, but COVID-19 affected Grinder Nationals this year in general. How's it affected you?
It did. So we canceled, or we postponed, I guess is the right term. We postponed it in April. We moved it to October. So it's coming up in just a couple of weeks now, October 10th in Lawrence. And, we've got good numbers. I mean, it's not quite as big as it was last year, but we also get a lot of people that sign up last minute. So we could easily hit our last year's numbers, which is exciting in this kind of year. And, we put a few things in play to make sure it's safe. I mean, we definitely put the riders at risk or the volunteers at risk, but we feel like with the risk mitigation items we put in place that we can do it safely and everyone can come have a great time.
So what are a couple of those mitigative steps you've taken, just to highlight a couple of the main ones for us?
Yeah, so one is check-in, is a touchless check-in. So everyone will maintain their social distancing 6 foot, and then when they come, for instance, you would say, "Hey, I'm Bill Gentile from Lupine Light." We'll pull your number and your swag and everything else. It'll be placed on a table down the line. you'll go down and just pick it up. As soon as you do, someone's going to clean the table with sanitizer, and then the next guy will go. And so no one has to touch anything from each other. And then we're doing kind of the same thing for the aid stations. Like riders will actually unscrew the cap of their bottles and hold it out. Volunteers with gloves on and mask will pour from a pitcher to fill them up. The rider will cap it back, and then individual items will be on the table if they want to grab a GU or a SIS or a Cliff Bar or whatever. Yeah. They'll grab the one, they'll kind of wipe the table, or they will wipe the table and with antibacterial wipe, put the next one on there. And that's
a lot of wiping, man. You guys going to be doing a lot of wiping, brother. So,
but, it'll keep everyone safe.
So, how about going over the specifics of this year's Grinder Nationals in Lawrence, Kansas, right?
Yes. So we started it in Lawrence. This is the 4th year. And we've had a great turnout. One thing that was really important to us, part of the reason we picked Lawrence is we felt that's kind of the area where gravel grinding started in the U.S. It's really kind of the heart of gravel. You got DK right down the road. And so we really felt like we wanted to kind of give an ode, or it felt like the right place to start. It's also in the middle of the country, so it's kind of the even distance for everyone, no matter if you're East Coast or West Coast. Although we're looking now at possibly moving it some. I think it would be great if we could get to where we had one on the East Coast, one on the West Coast, one in the middle. East Coast, if we moved it around and give riders who can't make the trip a chance to do it every couple of years, so it's in their neck of the woods. We also, a couple of things that were real important is it is a national championship, and so we definitely want to recognize the top riders in the sport, and with jerseys and guys that work and girls that work really hard. Yet it's also a very grassroots sport, and so we wanted to keep that feel. So I think we've done a good job of, it's very professionally run, yet it still has the really grassroots family feel. Afterwards, we finished actually at a local watering hole, and everyone gets a big slice of pizza and a Sierra Nevada, and everybody, or a soft drink if they don't want the Sierra, and then everyone hangs out, and there's a lot of camaraderie. We have a huge drawing for prizes. Actually, the last 3 years, we've had so many prizes that every single rider has won something in our raffle.
Wow.
Which is, over 300 riders, right? And from forks and wheel sets to light sets, from Lupine to hats and water bottles, but it's really been awesome. So, and then also as part of it, we have both a 25 and a 50 mile non-competitive ride for a guy, a lot of people's, their buddies want to come out, or their spouse or boyfriend or girlfriend and ride, but they're not ready to do 100. So we want them to be able to also come and enjoy the event and just make it kind of for all riders.
Man, that sounds really great. Do you have any sanctioning bodies other than U.S. Endurance, like USA Cycling or UCI or anything associated with this National Grinder Championship?
No, so it's a U.S. Endurance sanctioned event, and that's what the whole purpose when we started U.S. Endurance was to be able to give affordable insurance to race directors out there that want to put on events, and also to be able to provide insurance without there being membership fees. So U.S. Endurance, we have really affordable, fantastic insurance, and it's just the cost of the insurance plus 50 cents a rider. And so I know a lot of people don't want to have to buy a license and do all that. In certain scenarios, that's very important and needed, but for certain kinds of racing, it's not. And so that's kind of how it is. Now, UCI, we've been contacted by UCI. They're wanting to start a gravel world championship at some point. I think they're actually calling it I'm trying to remember, they called it something different, but that's, but I don't know if they're wanting, there's like a second party, and it's very, very expensive to become part of that series. And so I'm just not sure if they're going to be able to pull any U.S. races into that, because it's like $25,000 or something to be part of it. And I don't know that gravel is at that point right now, or even wants to be honest with you.
Solid call. So give us the specifics on the race date and the distance and the number of entrants you have so far, number of aid stations, and then just general layout of Lawrence, like what you can expect, how you're going to get there, all the specifics, if you can bundle that all up together for me. Thanks.
Sure. So Lawrence is only 30 minutes from Kansas City. It's a great little college town. It's where KU's at. So our host hotel is actually biking distance from the start finish. It's just a few miles. A lot of people bike over to start. The race will start the 100-miler. I say 100. It's a little over 100 plus for the Grinder National Championship. We start them, and then 15 minutes later, we start the guys that are doing the 50 or the 25. So they'll follow. They all go on the same route for the first 25 miles. There's an aid station there. The shorter race guys will then come back because they're doing a 50, or if they're doing a 25, we shuttle them back. We have a relay too, so the relay partner can be there for them to come back. The 50 milers the long race guys, the nationals guys will keep going. And there's another aid station at the 65-mile point, and then back to the finish line. And so it's an unsupported race. There's no, can't have somebody at the aid stations handing out bags or anything. We provide neutral support at those aid stations, and you can carry what you want on you. The reason we did that was we wanted it to be fair for everyone. If someone wants to come and doesn't have someone they can bring along to help hand out bags and stuff, we wanted them to be on the same playing field as a guy that could bring a whole team. And so, yeah, very cool. So, what's the date on that, and what time you guys going to get rolling in that morning? October 10th, and it starts at 7:45, I believe. And then I want to give a shout out. We have this awesome group, the Kansas City Jeep Club. They provide SAG for us, and so we end up with like 8 or 9 Jeep teams all over the course. They all have ham radios, and it's great. Anyone that has a mechanical or just needs to be brought in, we can get to them fairly rapidly and bring them back to it's almost like having an Uber group. They're so good out on the course. Oh man, that sounds like a fun time. How do we register for this event, or how do we find out more about it? So you can either go to usendurance.com, and we have a link there to Grinder Nationals, or you can just go to grindernationals.com, and there's a website there for it. It's also on Bike Reg. So any of those 3 ways to get to it. Yeah, we'd love to. If guys are out there and if their races are getting canceled and they want to try something new, we'd love to get them out there. We'd love to get, I think we've got, when I looked, I think we had 4 or 5 high school kids again this year. We love that. We've got the high school guys do the 50-miler and girls, and we've always had a decent little representation there, which is so awesome. And it's a good time. It's a great course. We've got 2 great course directors, and just a lot of fun. Is it mostly double track gravel, or is there any single track or macadam in there? How's that going to work out? No single track, and not any B roads, so it's good gravel. And it's not double track, it's like just plain gravel roads. And one thing about, I think part of the reason there's so much gravel in that area is it's unbelievable how many gravel roads they have there. Right on. And I can imagine. They're laid out in these perfect grids with a new every half-mile squares of the way the roads are. So it's the perfect place. What kind of elevation? How many feet of climbing can we expect over 100 miles? I should know that, and I don't have it. Roughly. I think this year's definitely way less. We're doing a course that's a lot more rolling and not as much climbing. So I think it's like 4,000 maybe or something in there, and I'm totally shooting from the hip on that one. So it's going to be a fast race. It will be this year faster, but it's interesting. The first year we kind of headed in the direction that we're heading this year, which is not the normal direction that people go when they have rides out of. It's not an area that people really train in. And after the first year, I had so many riders come up and say that was one of the best courses we rode this year. Really had enjoyed it. It was beautiful. It was nice and flowed well. And so the next couple of years, we had a lot more climbing in them, and we really wanted to come back to that. And so we're going to kind of fluctuate back and forth every year and on the courses with that. Yeah, that sounds great. So let me ask you this. So what was last year's winning time? Not this year's going to be a lot faster, roughly. I'm trying to, man.
Like 6 hours, 5 hours?
I mean, I am really just drawing a total blank on that.
No worries. I'm figuring.
maybe look while
It
we're
sounds
sitting here
like,
and pull it up.
where I was going with this is how much drafting and team tactics did you see the last couple of years? And is that becoming more of a trend or not?
Not really. There's not a ton of that. There's a couple of teams that will usually have a few riders in it, but we didn't see much of that. That's not really happening a whole lot.
Did you? Do you remember who won last year, male wise, and was it a pro rider or female wise pro riders?
I think it was a Panaracer rider, and so that won. I'm trying to remember who won the overall last year.
Do you expect any big names like Ted King or whatever to come down this year, or haven't you decided that yet? Or
we haven't heard from those guys yet. I know Roger has reached out to them, so we have a separate category for the pros.
Yeah,
and that way, because we want the everyday rider to have a chance, right?
Right.
So and then. I think we're split about every 5 years is what the categories are.
Oh, man, that's great. So everybody gets a little piece of the action. Everybody get a dig in there.
Yeah.
For us guys over 60 and 65, right?
All the way up to that, high school, there's a collegiate category. There's fat tire category, single speed category.
Fat tire category. No shit, huh? Wow.
We got I think this year, I looked this the other day, I think we had 4 or 5 fat tire, or maybe it was single speed, 4 or 5 single speed and a couple of fat tire. Man, a couple of years ago, we had a fat tire rider who came in either 4th or 5th overall.
Wow.
It was unbelievable. Unbelievable. Yeah. So, yeah, we want to, I think there should be national champions, obviously, in all of those categories. We do. We feel that way.
Hell yeah, right? So,
right, spread the love.
Yeah, man. So I was talking to you earlier in the week, and you kind of hinted to a possibility that maybe you'd be teaming up for that East Coast location venue maybe next year or in an upcoming year. And were you having some discussion maybe about Lewistown, Pennsylvania, the home of Unpaved, perhaps?
We are definitely in talks with those guys about the possibility of bringing it that way. Mike Coon's actually on our board, so he's one of our board members, and then Dave over there. So we're talking with both those guys, and they put on great races, and they just are,
sure do,
such great advocates for the sport, and I would be really happy if we could team up with them and bring it that way.
And I know I've talked to Mike and Dave about the possibility of a 24-hour race, and so I'm glad to see that we've got some traction now with you on this relative to U.S. Endurance, maybe getting one off the ground again at a national level. That's you can count on Lupine being there in a big way for sure.
Awesome.
Dude, thanks a lot, and I appreciate the interview, and boy, it's very tempting to get out there one of these years for sure. But
we want you to come down, man. We'll take care of you. Well, I just want to throw out to everybody, like, it is a great ride. It's a lot of fun. The atmosphere is awesome. So, man, if you don't have anything to do on October 10th and you want to come turn the pedal with us, come on. And
Lawrence is a great place, right? KU's there, like you said, so it's a great college town atmosphere. And
it is. And the post-race, that Johnny's Tavern, the post-race place, you couldn't have a better post-race place to hang out at. So it really is a great place for the race.
Dude, thanks a lot, man. I appreciate the interview, and we're stoked for this, and more good things to come in the future with U.S. Endurance, and I'm glad you guys are on it, man. I appreciate all that effort that you put into this, and best of luck for the race, and onward and upward. And again, always been a great partner with Lupine Lights, and we really appreciate that. We want to keep that going as long as possible. So I thank you for that as well.
Well, we thank you too. You guys have been awesome partners, and you're such a great advocate for the sport. So we hope that partnership lasts forever.
All right, brother. Take care. Have a good weekend. And thanks for joining us on the Gretna Bill Show. I appreciate it.
Okay. Thanks, Bill.
All right. Take care, Troy. Okay, everybody, we're back. I wanted to cover a couple of things before we end this podcast. It was great speaking with Troy Farrar, of course, of U.S. Endurance, and talking about the U.S. Grinder National Championships coming up in Lawrence, Kansas on October 10th. So a couple other things we got going on. The last couple of podcasts, we were urging everybody to send in their best bike pick or especially at this time of year, the bike pick with a lupine mounted on it, or a helmet with a lupine mounted on it. But either way, we want you to send that into at Gretna Bill Show. And so, Josh, what's the best way for them to get those pics to us?
Hashtag Gretna Bill Show.
All right, so you got that, everybody? It's hashtag Gretna Bill Show, and that's double L, no spaces.
Yeah, I'll put that up on the screen.
All right, cool, thanks. And then the other thing that's going to happen is those pics will be put into a contest each week. And you'll, as viewers, you'll be able to see your pick on the at Gretna Bill Show Instagram page. But then additionally, we're going to pick out some of the best picks each day. And we've got a couple of great prizes. We've got some really nice Lupine gear bags coming in that we're going to give away. And we're also going to give away some Lupine socks. So they're back in stock. So we're going to have a pair of Lupine socks for you if you get your picture in. And we decide to choose it to show it on the air. So, yeah, these are the greatest socks. Everybody wants them, and so now's your chance to get a pair. And then also, at the end of the year, we're going to raffle away a couple of lights to all those individual sock winners or gear bag winners as the podcast season progresses through the end of the year. So get those picks in and get yourself, and send us the address in there and get yourself a chance to win a pair of Defeat Lupine socks. So we did have a contest winner this week, and we're going to show you that pick on air here soon. But it's so this pair of socks goes to Tim Finn and his nice Ibis ride, and you'll see that it's hooked up really nice. It's got a Pico on the front of that. He rides to work in the morning. Yeah, it's a great rig on his gravel rig. It's a great Lupine setup. So okay, there you have that. Yeah, and I just wanted to mention one more thing. Last year, Troy Farrar, who we just interviewed, was also involved with USARA, which is the United States Adventure Race Association. And we sponsor a number of teams in there, but our one of our favorite teams, and they've done a great job in that United States Adventure Race Association. And you guys saw some of the spin-off of those competitions in the Eco Challenge. So you see what's going on with adventure racing. But this team, Lupine Racing USA, was the 6th ranked adventure racing team in the nation in 2019. So there's that. Those guys were happy and girls, and I was fortunate enough to get this certificate for the office. And then also, relative to USARA, the team Lupine Racing was the number ranked adventure racing team in Colorado. And that speaks volumes too. So that's pretty cool too. Got this certificate sent to Lupine headquarters. Awesome. So final business is that we should call out our sponsors. Thanks again to Lupine Lighting Systems. That's lupinenorthamerica.com. GUERCIOTTI Bicycles. GUERCIOTTI Bicycles made in Milan, Italy. And that's GUERCIOTTIUSA.com. And Josh Zaring Studios, downtown Timber Hills. And not with us today, but soon to be back, of course, Deluxx Bikes. So thanks again for tuning in, and hope you enjoyed this podcast. And stay tuned for the next podcast. We're going to talk about e-bikes and GNCC, etc., with George Willits. So one last note, folks. So remember, get those pics in of your bike this time of year with your bike, with your lupine mounted on it. And even if it's a helmet or both, send those pics in and send them into hashtag Gretna Bill Show. And we're going to get them on our Instagram page, which is at Gretna Bill Show. And so even though you may not win a prize that particular day, get them out to us, and we'll get them up on air, and you'll definitely be considered into the grand prizes at the end of the year, even though we may not pick you for the specific prize for that podcast episode, in terms of either a gear bag or a nice pair of lupine socks. So send those in, guys. You'll get recognition. You'll get to see and show off your best rig with lupine mounted on it. And also, all your friends will be able to see, and we'll be really appreciative. And we will enter you into a contest at the end of the year, win a light. And in the meantime, you may win the daily podcast prize or prizes, depending on how many entries we have. So we've got tons of socks coming in. We got gear bags coming in. So thanks again for playing along. And don't forget to hit subscribe. And don't forget to check out our @Gretna Bill Show Instagram. All right. Peace out again.